So let's say you're working with a raster floor plan that you want to convert into a DXF or DWG file, but you also want to make sure that the scale isn't off. So that's a bit tricky when you're working with raster files. So let's open up a PNG floor plan here to show you an example. Now we can convert this into a DXF and DWG, but after that we also want to set the scale right. So first things first, let's clean up the image a little bit. Click on clean image in the upper left, and then first thing we want to do is turn it black and white by clicking on threshold. I want to maybe increase it just a little bit. Yeah, around that. And then maybe thicken up some of the lines too. Some of the lines are a bit too thin. Now we can click on OK. And now click on convert raster image to convert it into a usable vector image. There is some text that we want to convert, so I'm going to click on vectorizing OCR. In this new OCR tab, I want to set the maximum character size, so I'm going to click on select from image. The largest text here might be the word schematics here, so I'm going to zoom in on that and click and drag across the height of it to set the maximum character size there. We do have some vertical text. You want to make sure that this is ticked. By default, it's not, so just make sure that it's ticked if you do have some vertical text, such as these ones. And then now I'm going to click on run, and if it gets to maybe 80 to 90% of the way, then I'll be happy with the result. Okay, that's pretty clean. I like what I'm seeing here. Some of the text didn't convert pretty well, but I think it's to be expected since it intersects a lot of lines. So the ones that don't intersect lines were converted pretty accurately, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to click on OK. Now, to set the scale right, you're going to want to look at a graphical reference. So I know that this measurement indicates this line is 6,980 millimeters. I know for a fact that this floor plan is of a project that's measured in millimeters. So I'm going to note that. I'm going to click on File here in the upper left, and then Scale Options. Then I'm going to click on Measure. So I'm going to want to make sure that orthogonal snap as well as snapped endpoints are both ticked. That makes things a lot easier. And then I'm going to click on in the general vicinity of the center of that line, then drag it towards here, making sure that I keep it straight, which is easier because I have orthogonal snap ticked. Then I'm gonna release the mouse, and then I'm going to click on calibrate, make sure that my units are correct. You can choose between any of the units here, and then type in the new calibrated scale for that particular measurement that I just took. In this case, it's 6,980 millimeters. Okay, I'm going to click on apply. And that should set the scale correctly once you did everything right. After that, the last step is just to click on export on the upper right. Choose the file format you want to use. You can use either DXF or DWG if you're working on a CAD program. You can also use G-code if you would like. Name it whatever you want to name it. In this case, I'm just going to name it scaled conversion. And then you can click on save. There are a couple of export options that you can also tweak before saving the file. But usually the default options seem to work well for most CAD programs. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on OK. So to recap, if you want to convert a raster floor plan into a DWG or DXF vector floor plan, while also maintaining, or rather, while also recalibrating the scale so that it's correct, you first have to clean up the raster image, convert it into vector, and then from there, just use the scale options tool here that ScanTACAD has to correct everything and make everything the right scale. Then just save it using the export button on the upper right.